Hey guys, we are in East Hampton in a 1991 Acura NSX. I've never been here before. I have no idea where I'm going. I'm honestly just in the car, driving on the road, seeing where it takes me and seeing how I enjoy this car. So I've never been here before. The roads are honestly very nice, very cool, very good for a car like this. Obviously the 5-speed 1991 Acura NSX, and it has some sort of exhaust on it, but it's nothing like too crazy. So it just makes it sound like kind of a better version of the original car. And it feels very tight. Again, 37,000 miles. This car feels brand new. Every time I drive an NSX, I get surprised about how well they drive. So I honestly really like this car, and actually think they're going to keep going up in value. Okay, I wouldn't say they're very rare. They're pretty rare. You really don't see them often though. But the nice thing, especially about a car like this, that's pretty much mostly stock, is the way people look at you. They're not looking at you as some, rich asshole with an expensive car. Like, this kind of means you're actually into cars. It's not a flashy car. It's just a fun car to drive, a car that you probably grew up liking, and you eventually got old enough, you had the money to buy it, and you bought it. And it's a great car, and it kind of lives up to the expectation. But it's not an obnoxious car in any way. Just like a cool car. It's an Acura. You're not trying to show off in this. You're just somebody who actually likes cars. And for this era of Japanese cars, it's now kind of rising up in value and in popularity. Something like this is kind of a mix between a supercar and a JDM car. It's just the coolest thing around. You have a mid-engine layout, so the front feels super light, super nimble, but also everything feels just very well made, very reliable, just almost like a regular car, but with like some supercar features. Okay, so here we are exploring the East Hamptons in the 1991 Acura NSX. Honestly, this is such a good car for that. Like I was saying before, if you look, this is just like a very low-key, quiet kind of area. Obviously there is a lot of wealth around here, but nobody really shows it off, and this is not a show-off car. This is just a car that, you want to have a little fun of drive, just something you grew up liking, just a cool little car. This is definitely the car for that. It's going up in value. It's very classy, looks very clean, especially a stock one like this. You really don't see them a lot. Usually they're very heavily modified. So 1991, first year of the NSX, I believe. Just, it just pretty much whatever they need to do for the design of a kind of a supercar, but this was the reliable supercar of the day. Obviously Honda engine, 16-inch wheels, nothing flashy. Very cool interior. It's got like these very thick leather seats, which I kind of like when the Type R's later on had kind of like thinner bucket seats, but very simple interior, 5-speed manual. This one is very clean, very original, 37,000 miles. And the nice thing about this car, in my opinion, compared to all the other JDM cars, not only is it mid-engine, but just the whole design language of this car is kind of the most recognizable out of all the JDM cars. The huge taillight in the back, and the early gens like this one had the pop-up headlights. So here, I'm just gonna turn this up, and the headlight just popped up. So when you drive at night, it looks like this. And also you can fold them down. It has a very slick look to the front. And the way you can tell the first gen from the second gen is the first gen just has a regular headlights that don't pop up. But it's just the most recognizable shape, I think, out of all the JDM cars of the generation, or the R34s, the RX-7s, the Supras. This is definitely the most recognizable, in my opinion, the coolest looking. So in a big city like New York, Toronto, whatever, if you want to drive around in like a fun car, you might want something a little bit more flashy, like maybe an Aventador or a 48 or something with an exhaust. Obviously, you're going to want to draw yourself attention. This is just really not the place for that. It's very quiet. It's about this quiet all day long. So this is kind of a perfect car for that. You're really not obnoxious at all. It's very cool, and honestly, most people in these types of areas don't really know what this car is. Yeah, so far I like this area. Like, the Hamptons are kind of cool, but honestly, I think they're a little bit too quiet for me. I think like a nice weekend getaway here would be nice, but yeah, I don't know about being here for more than like a week at a time. I think it would drive me crazy. There's really not much to do, but I guess if you have a nice house here and like a car like this to just drive around, you can have a little bit of fun. Yeah, I think I said it before, but I think this car has like some sort of an exhaust. It's nothing aggressive, but I think it's like the perfect amount for this car. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it over video, but like, it's so good. Like, it makes you feel like you're still in a stock car, but a stock car that drives better than this did when it was stock. Well, that was a pretty fun time in the Hamptons here, driving around in this NSX. We road tripped here from Toronto in that Maybach right over there a few days ago. I know, pretty good two-car combo for here. Hey, so I just swapped and I'm driving probably the most like East Hampton car you can imagine. This is a 97 Land Rover Defender 90. Honestly, I really don't know anything about these cars. I'm just going by what I was told. Apparently this is the last year of production where you can get an automatic and AC, I believe. There's I think 1,100 of these made, and I guess the market value nowadays is like $150,000. I've never driven anything close to this, anything similar to this, so I'm gonna drive it around right now. I want to see what all the hype's about. I want to kind of just get a feel of it. Definitely like the complete opposite of what the NSX was like, with the Maybach that we drove here in. It's as you can hear, it's super loud. It just kind of moves all over the road everywhere. The brakes are absolutely horrible, but it's kind of fun and it's really cool. So here it is, the Land Rover Defender 90. Again, I really don't know much about these cars. Never driven one. I just took it out for a drive now to see what it's like. Honestly, I don't want to say it's one of the scariest cars I've ever driven, but it's up there. The brakes aren't like, it's not even scary, you know what? It's just very loose. Like, it's cool to drive, and I definitely love to drive it around areas like this where it's very quiet. You don't really drive that fast, but I would never take this thing on a highway. Everything's very kind of wobbly, very loose. The brakes are part-time workers. They're barely there, but it just looks so sick. When you drive it, it just feels so badass. Like you're just kind of, it's almost like you're driving like you're driving a military vehicle pretty much. And it's awesome. And this one looks really, really cool with the black wheels. White car. This one has 43,000 original miles. The cloth top, honestly, I don't feel like starting to take the top off and stuff, but obviously you could. It just looks so aggressive, so badass. And it has a pretty, like, again, it's obviously an old school interior. The craziest thing is that these windows, they don't open like up and down, like you slide them this way. And then look at this door handle. So very, very simple interior. Obviously this screen was not original. So yeah, you got 2 seats in the front, and you have 4 more sideways facing seats in the back. And of course you have the cloth top, and you have these bars kind of going here, just like that. But yeah, honestly, I'm actually having a lot of fun driving this car. I didn't think I really would. I really didn't know what to expect. But yeah, it's pretty badass. And yeah.